Hello everyone and welcome to chapter number 4 of Blender Master Course series, Navigating and Saving in Blender. Do watch the last 4 chapters of this Blender Master Course if you haven't already watched them. You can find these from the link given in the pinned comment. Now coming back to the topic, today we are going to start navigating and saving in Blender. So first of all, Blender files are saved in your PC with the file extension of .blend. And as we discussed this earlier, in order to save your files in Blender, you have to press Ctrl+S and then it will ask you to choose your desired location. It's suggested to make a separate folder in your PC for Blender files. Like I have created this Blender Master Course folder where I save the files that I have created during this Master Course series. Similarly, you can also create a folder in your PC. So now I will rename this file as Chapter-04 and then I click enter and it automatically adds the file extension, and now I click save Blender file and the file is now saved in our folder. Now one of the most important things while working in Blender is to frequently save your work, and the reason is that Blender doesn't have any autosave feature as of now, and so if your software crashes or if there is some power failure, you will lose all your unsaved work. Similarly, if you want to open a Blender file, then just press Ctrl+O and then by navigating through your folders from here, you can choose your desired file which you want to open. Suppose I want to open chapter number 2 file, so I click here and press open and the file is now opened. So this was the file in which we made the cube and this was the chapter number 2 file. And now I will close it and open the chapter number 4 file like this. So till now in this chapter we have learned how to open and save files in Blender. But what does it exactly mean to save a file in Blender? Just like a text file contains the data of words and letters, or an image file contains the data which displays an image, similarly, a Blender file contains a combination of data organized into separate parts or elements. So whenever you save a file in Blender, you are basically saving the elements of that file. And to understand this in a practical way, click on File here and press Append. And now I'll click on the chapter number 2 file and press Append. So it displays a list of the different folders, and these are the folders which contain the data of a particular file in Blender. For example, the materials folder here contains the data of all the materials or the colors that you have used in your project. And if you go back and select the object folder, then it contains all the objects that are present in your 3D viewport of that particular file. Now you may be thinking what this append option was when I clicked it earlier. So basically you can insert elements from one Blender file to another using the append option or the link command. The difference between the two is that append will take the data from a file and will add it to the other file, whereas link allows you to use the data from an existing file to your current file, but the data will still remain in the existing file. At this stage it might be difficult to understand these, but in our upcoming chapters when we will use these tools and commands practically, then your concept will get more clear about them. And also we will try one example of append right now. So suppose we want to add this cube that we created in our previous chapter into this file. So to do that, we have to go to file and press append here. Then you need to select the file where it was saved. For example, I click chapter number 2 and append, and now I will click on collection since it contains basically all the objects that were in your 3D viewport, and it will add this cube here in the 3D viewport of this new file. The reason why it's appearing like this is that there are duplicate cubes here. The previous cube that was in the default file is also there, and the added cube is also here, and the lamps are also two, the cameras are also two, which you can see in the collection here. So we'll delete one light from here, and we'll also delete one camera from here, and now I will also delete this default cube. And now if I go to the material preview mode here, then we see that the cube we made in chapter number 2 file is now in our chapter number 4 file as well. And now our final topic for this chapter is importing objects. So basically there are many file types or formats which can store a 3D model, and Blender has the ability to accept most of them. Now there are many websites from where you can get such 3D models for your projects, such as sketchfab.com. Here you can find a number of free and paid 3D models which you can use in your Blender projects. We will be discovering this in detail in one of our upcoming chapters. But for now we will see an example of importing an object from this website into our Blender file. So let's search for a 3D model of an apple on this website, and for this I'll go here and search for apple, and I'll check this downloadable option, and this one looks good. So I'll go here and scroll down. Let's look at this first, and it looks fine. So I'll scroll down, click on download 3D model, and we'll choose this USDZ format to download it, and it will download in a few seconds. Now let's go back to Blender, and I'll first delete all these objects from a 3D viewport, or maybe I'll keep this cube and delete the rest of them. So I'll click on this, and along with shift I'll select this camera, press X to delete, and I'm thinking of hiding this object instead of deleting, so I'll press H to hide this cube. Now to import that 3D model of Apple in this file, we'll go to File, then Import, and from here we'll select Universal Scene Description USD format. Now I will go to my downloads page and select this apple.usdz, then click on import, and now I'll scroll back and press S to scale this down like this. Similarly, you can also try this with other 3D models online. And that's all in the chapter number 4. Our next chapter is going to be the chapter number 5 of this series, Objects in 3D View Editor. And this chapter is going to be the most important chapter in the Master Course series that we have covered till now. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and press that notification bell so that you can get timely updates about the upcoming chapters. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.